So DME really improves multi-domain operations because multi-domain operations requires communication and it needs to be quick and it needs to be reliable, and all these different systems need to talk to each other to figure out what's going on. So that's exactly what DME does. You think of the real world, you design a satellite in a vacuum, and not the vacuum of space, but I mean, without thinking of it's trying to communicate to aircraft on the ground that might be flying low below terrain. There might be other lighting constraints. There might be local jamming. There's all these things that could affect your conditions in the real world that you would want to apply realistic simulation so that you can be prepared to make sure that your communications between all these different systems still works when you go and field it. So an example would be an airplane flying that has a payload looking for something on the ground like wildfires or whatever. And then that airplane has a communication. So it has an EOIR sensor pointing down, but it also has a comm package pointing up for satellite relay. And then that satellite that it's talking to also has to talk back down to a ground station. So there's a lot of different hops here, and that system wouldn't work if those hops weren't connected. And that's what DME does. It helps you connect all those dots so that the multi-domain operations is possible.
The other thing that I think some people forget about, because I think the original application, Josh, would you say the original application was aerospace defense?
Absolutely.
Very much
Yep.
critical, mission critical sort of tool set. I think a lot of people forget now, right? When you go on a commercial aircraft, okay, and you're flying down to Florida for a vacation, and you want to get on Wi-Fi, yeah, that requires the same level of engineering that I say, quote unquote, we have been doing in A&D for decades, right?
Right.
But now we have these very commercial, very consumer type applications, and that is the fact that we all have a desire to be connected, no matter where we are, no matter what our altitude is, no matter how fast we're moving. And I don't think a lot of people truly understand how much engineering goes into that to make sure you can, watch a full length feature film in 4K when you're over
Right.
the Atlantic. There's quite a bit of engineering in the
Yeah.
background.
Absolutely. Yeah. And think of the new uh, the big internet satellite constellations, right? It's the exact same thing that we're all going to be connected to very soon. There's a lot that goes into that. It's been a long time coming, and it's going to be fantastic.